What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Hump Day Wednesday afternoon so far. NYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm going to talk about a player that is actually a teammate of number one pick Victor Wembanyana when we get to the NBA draft late next month. But he could be a guy that could make some noise in his own regards when we get to the NBA draft and look like a guy that can most likely be projected to be the Brooklyn Nets' first pick at pick number 22, and that is Bilal Coulibaly. He is a 6'8", 195-pound guard who is an archetype of slashing with his ability to play in transition and operate above the rim. But one of the problems with the kid like Coulibaly is that he struggles when it comes to his shooting. That's the weakness of his game overall, is he's only shot, even though he shot 52.8% from the field, he shot just 35.4% from three-point line, and he just attempted 2 times a game in terms of his three-point shooting. However, as is common knowledge for many who evaluate draft prospects, shooting as a skill that can improve, whereas athleticism and physicality can only improve so much, and that's exactly what this kid has. He has that athleticism and that type of ability to be a game-breaking player for the Brooklyn Nets going forward, and that's something that could really make a difference for this Brooklyn Nets team as we get closer to the NBA draft. And that's something that most Nets fans have to look out for, is with this kid, his overall upside and what he could bring to the table for Brooklyn going forward, because of the fact he's one of those kids that has the ability to slash to the basket and create his own contact going forward, and be able to drive to the basket and draw fouls. That is one thing that you have to notice when it comes to a kid like Bilal Coulibaly. And the Nets need guys, especially coming off the bench, that have the ability to drive to the basket, create their own shot, draw fouls, and use their raw athletic ability to be able to score the basket and not just be able to rely on three-point shooting and mid-range shooting. You have to be able to create your own shot, and that's exactly what this kid can do. Exactly what this kid can do. And it's a much-needed thing for a Brooklyn Nets offense that is reliant way too much on just shooting and alone. That's the one thing that really hurt this Brooklyn Nets team last year, is that they relied way too much on shooting. They relied way too much on just spot-up three-point shots and didn't have enough guys that can be able to create off the dribble and put up their own shot. This is at least a change of pace from where the Brooklyn Nets could potentially be going into next year, with the fact that they're going to be looking for guys that can not only get some front court presence on the court, but also guys that can go out there and be able to slash the basket, draw fouls, and be able to get to the line. And that's exactly what this 6'8", 195-pound Coulibaly can do. He's going to be one of the interesting prospects the Brooklyn Nets are going to be looking for going into this season. Obviously, we know, the Nets are going to be having some players that are going to be going into an unrestricted free agency. You're going to have some players that are going to be, not here with the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are going to just try to see if they could change up their roster a little bit because of the fact they've been struggling in terms of their overall scoring. And so far, in terms of his scoring, Coulibaly has averaged about he's averaged about an assist per game, a personal foul, or about 3 rebounds per game. He shot about 60% from the free throw line, 50% from the 2-point line. He's averaged about 5 points per game during the Euroleague last year for France, and he's going to be a kid that's going to be looking to see if he could translate those skills coming into the NBA. Like we mentioned before, a lot of other analysts have said, if a kid has raw athleticism and you put him in the right system that can get the most out of that athleticism, and the right type of coaching is there to harness that talent, you can get something very special out of a young man going forward into the NBA. And that's exactly what the Brooklyn Nets are hoping for looking into this NBA draft. You look at the current players on this roster: Joe Harris, Seth Curry, Edmund Sumner. A lot of these guys are just spot-up shooters from the outside, and they don't have the ability to be able to drive the ball to the basket and create their own shot. This kid has that ability, and this kid could take advantage of that ability going into next year. And that's exactly what Brooklyn Nets are looking for. Slashers to the basket. How many times did we have to watch into that playoff game this past year where too many guys were spotting up and taking three-point shots and not trying to take advantage, of driving to the basket and drawing fouls and creating their own shots? That is one of the biggest things that hurt this Brooklyn Nets team in the postseason and for the most part during the latter part of this NBA season. The Nets need to do a better job going into next year. They need to. They need to get more guys on this team that can really make a difference going forward. Because it's too many times we saw this team settle for shooting. And besides Spencer Dinwiddie and Mikal Bridges to a degree, and Cam Thomas when he had his opportunity to play, Nets didn't have enough guys that were willing to slash the basket and draw fouls. This kid has that ability. And the Nets need some scoring off the bench. Like I mentioned, Seth Curry's a free agent. Wild rumors, Joe Harris could be a trade candidate. Same thing with Royce O'Neal. Nets need somebody that can go out there and put the ball into the basket. These are some of those guys that can end up doing it. Will this guy be available by the time we get to pick numbers 21 and 22? We don't know. We're going to have to find out and wait and see. But either way, this is definitely going to be something to monitor going into the NBA draft. And if the Nets can get themselves this kid on picks number 21 or picks number 22, or get a player similar to what Bilal Coulibaly was able to do, or Coulibaly, down in the French League, in the Euroleague. His offense is still, something that needs to be harnessed, but with the right coaching, like I mentioned, you can get the most of it going forward. And hopefully, the Nets can get themselves one of these types of players going into this NBA draft, because this is a critical offseason for Brooklyn. They're going to be looking to see if they can add some more scoring punch to this team after they lacked it at the end of the season due to the trades of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And this could be the type of additions that the Nets need going into next year. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and give a sub to NYG Jeffy T85. More news, updates, and chatter surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. If you enjoy the videos, make sure to hit that super thanks at the bottom. Gives appreciation to the videos. And thank you all always for the support that you guys give me on the channel. And let me know in the comment section if you guys have watched Bilal Coulibaly, former teammate in the Euroleague of Victor Wembanyana, the projected number one pick, most likely number one pick in this upcoming NBA draft. And if you think he could be a late round prospect, the Brooklyn Nets could look to bring in and add some more scoring punch to this team going into the 2023-2024 NBA season. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Hump Day Wednesday. Take it easy, and as always, let's go Brooklyn Nets. It's a Nets world, and we are all just living in it.